What's going on, family? What's going on? Peace, peace. Give everybody a few minutes to come through and drop this link. So shit, man. I wish the music would play. I don't know, but hold on for 1 second while we set up. What's going on? Welcome to America versus the United States. It's just a conscious reality show. Um, you already know the topic today. The topic right now is about to be. Topic is I'm gonna put the link right there and put the link in for anybody that want to jump in immediately. The only thing with this whole YouTube thing is they take like 20 minutes to let everybody know that I'm live and shit. So it's like unless you press that bell, you got to press that bell if you want to, be get noticed earlier and faster, and of course, participate in the show and all that. So just giving people a little bit of time to get tuned in. So it's an elevator music or something like that playing right now. All right. All right. So we coming through a little by little, coming through. Just as we get set up. Okay, so the conversation is going to be about this. I'm gonna start it off with the Hidden Figures movie. I started off with the Hidden Figures movie. I seen the Hidden Figures movie. I thought it was an amazing movie. Somebody had kind of reached out and was saying that, hey, you went hard at promoting the what was that? The Birth of a Nation. You went hard at promoting the Birth of a Nation, and you didn't speak on the Hidden Figures. So just to kind of address that, of course it was a lady who said that, and a woman who said that, and she said that as if like we didn't go hard enough for her in her eyes as hard as we went with with Birth of a Nation. And I think there's a reason. I don't think I just know that there the reason behind that is again, it's fairly simple. The reason behind that is that with the Birth of a Nation, he didn't have the budget. He didn't have the budget that uh, the Hidden Figures people had. And you got Pharrell pushing that. Pharrell was the one that was actually, one of the main guys behind the soundtrack, and just, I don't know if he was an executive producer. I'm not even going to dig into it like that. But I know, overall, the way the movie was a great movie. They touched on race without dragging you through it and making you feel like embarrassed sitting in your chair. You got what I'm saying? So they touched on it in a smooth way. The movie was well done, well put together. The actors and actresses did an amazing job. Briefly, I really don't want to do this, but I'm gonna have to do this. They used all the actors, well, some of them from this movie Moonlight, and to me, that Moonlight movie that I've been seeing like a trillion commercials for, it's trash. It was like it was based in the '80s, and they were talking like old captives. You got what I'm saying? It was like, oh man, is boss gonna get? And I'm like, that's the '80s. Like, I don't remember people wasn't talking like so-called slaves back then in the '80s. That it was so it was embarrassing. They had the little boy comparing it. So those actors and actresses were actually put into the Hidden Figures movie, and to redeem themselves. Rightfully so. So they redeemed themselves because the acting was a thousand. Well, was 500% better. And the story was a lot better and well put together. Obviously, you know, when you have you know, high caliber actors and actresses all together with um, proper funding and everything like that, and you know, from Tom Hanks all the way up and down, that cast was loaded. So whereas in the Birth of a Nation case, you had, right as he was ready to go hard with promotions, first he was already cast strapped, and then the media kind of blitzed on him, you know, with pulling up a old rape case or something like that, or you know, that he was acquitted of. Um, and again, when you got somebody like Pharrell who actually was shouldering the weight of pushing Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures was you know, he did the soundtrack and he, you know, had a song running through. And me being a musician and an artist and, you know, and a filmmaker, and, you know, with these documentaries and these little brief conversations, it's, you know, it's just, you know, you want to co-sign, but, you know, the underdog needs more help than somebody who has access to Oprah, Jay-Z, Diddy. Like Pharrell has access to every multimillionaire, damn near billion, close to billionaires. He's scandal free, so I don't think he needs too much help promoting that Hidden. You know, he didn't need too much help promoting the Hidden Figures movie. To me, you know, he could have, if he would have nailed the record, pretty much that was the key. Because when you bring a person like Pharrell, you know, on your team, you really looking at it for him to use a record. I think he had an issue with one of the singers, with one of the gospel singers who had a stronger song on the soundtrack. And if you understand the conversation of the Despicable Me record wind up going viral, which pushed the Despicable Me movie into another stratosphere. That's why you can do so many different knockoffs of the movie and different versions of that movie and come back with a part 2 and 3 and other versions and the Minions, et cetera, et cetera. So most people that bring Pharrell in or bring in a heavyweight soundtrack guy, they're usually looking for a signature sound for the movie. Okay, so they usually look for a signature sound for the movie, and what winds up happening is uh, I don't think he, I don't think he nailed that part of the nailed that part because for whatever reason, right? He was trying to run this one song played multiple times during the movie, and because it played multiple times, it just made it a little, you know, like, you know, you just wanted a lot more from that. But overall, again, I thought the movie was phenomenal. The reason why I didn't go crazy posting and all of this other stuff, again, I was on hiatus from the end of the year to, a few days ago, a couple of days ago, because the nonsense from 2016 was bleeding into 2017. But if you haven't checked out the movie, check it out. It's a great movie. I thought it was going to be a horrible movie, and the whole conversation is not based on hitting this movie, but just to get this out, you know, just to be fair, because you know, a woman went hard on me like, you ain't talk about Hidden Figures the way you went in with the, so I ain't got nothing moving behind me. There's no moving screen. There's no look at you can see my son walking around. And but you know, so what winds up happening is they was using these women, their math and their science and their brains to actually figure out how to uh, enter and leave space, how to enter and leave space, and by doing that, you how you, damn, I don't mute you, brother, and I don't know how to unmute you. By doing that, I thought they was gonna actually pull in, you know, try to use their this movie to make a suggestion about going to the moon. That's what I was really afraid of. I really thought they was gonna yeah, just jump back in, just jump back in. Yeah, um, but I thought they was gonna use this movie to kind of, you know, hammer home this whole they made it to the moon illusion, which they never made it. But they didn't do that. They did it real clever. They did it, you know. So that's why I can co-sign the movie, because I was really afraid that they was going to use the Hidden Figures movie to push this fake moon landing, and because that's my perspective. I'm not co-signing no moon landing, and when they can't even if you can't sit on the beach for a couple of days, these guys trying to fly tin cans into space, with all this tons and tons of radiation, it's just far-fetched. But the math that the women use to coordinate the launches and the missiles, the launches to enter to enter and exit space, or Earth's upper and lower atmospheres. That's real. But unfortunately, that math was used also for missile launching to actually hurt nations that usually are men and women of color. So that's really the conversation for that Hidden Figures. I'm not sure if you want to jump in and conversate about anything, if you've even seen the movie Hidden Figures. But before I close, before I move on to the next part of the conversation, have anybody that's seen it, have you seen the Hidden Figures movie?
No, me myself, I haven't seen it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. It's actually a pretty good movie. If you with the children or the lady, and you want do something productive. It's just like, yeah, we go to the movie, see Hidden Figures. It's actually a good movie. And they was kind of using it for just the, and that same week, I believe the last guy that supposedly walked on the moon had wind up passing away. So everything kind of lined up right, right for that movie. But really, this conversation is about these 29 black hidden figures, these 29 black women that were in the Obama administration. And I'm gonna just briefly run through that, and then if you want to build on it, you want to jump in, you want to conversate about it, I'm gonna do that. All right. So let me just share the screen real quick, just so y'all can see where we going with this. Let me pull this out. Okay. Okay. So now these are the women. Come on, what is going on with this thing? All right. So now these are the women that were in the Obama administration. The Obama administration. So now I just want to go through it just so people can see. I just want to go through it. Black woman, I think it's like every other picture. It's important to see these women's faces. It's very important to see. Just hold on. I want to go back a couple of pictures for a second. Go back a couple of pictures. I believe Susan Rice. She's a Rhodes Scholar. It's important to remember and important to know. If you're not familiar with Rhodes Scholars, you need to find out who Cecil Rhodes is, what a Rhodes Scholar, who is a Rhodes Scholar. Whenever you watch this video, whether you're watching it now or sometime down the line, by the time YouTube lets you know that I'm actually live tomorrow, they'll be like, oh, he's live. They'll tell you tomorrow. But by the time you catch up to this show, do some research on what a Rhodes Scholar, who a Rhodes Scholar is, who are the Rhodes Scholars, because they are key players. And when you understand the agenda of Cecil Rhodes and the scramble for Africa. So again, I need to show you these women's faces. These are the hidden figures of the Obama administration. All right, so I'm not sure if it's coming to the end yet, but okay, women, beautiful women. They have to be highly intellectual and smart, and look at that. They got style, they got fashion, they got it all. They got it. They got the education. All right, so just being fair to all of them. Everybody's let her get a little bit of shine. Important. Okay, so that was it for that. Okay, so now, when you see seeing all of those women that were in the Obama administration. Now, my question is, did any of those black women that amazing, smart, intellectual black women, beautiful. Did any of those black women, 29 of them, did they at any given time think like, you know what if I told the president or President Obama at the time to pardon Assata Shakur? Not did any of them think to tell the president that? Did any of those black women address the president or push the issue to the president that we need reparations? To me, I think that's where we're getting lost at. That you have all of these prominent black men and women in places and positions, and they're turning their back. That these black women are similar to the black women that, or the black men and women that were in Howard University in the 60s when Howard, although it was considered a black school, they didn't. Howard was fighting against the students and fighting against I believe it was SNCC and some of the other um, like they had help from a lot of people, but they were fighting against bringing a black agenda in a black school. All right, so Howard, everybody knows Howard now is as a black school, and when you look at the footage of the women and the men that were speaking against bringing a black agenda to a black school, and the best thing about it is it's hindsight now. You got what I'm saying? Like it's not like, oh, you could get in trouble for it now because it's hindsight. We're looking back at a situation where when you hear some of the things that they say, why they don't think it should be, there should be a black agenda, et cetera, et cetera. Then now in hindsight, look how foolish they made these people look by whoever told them, if somebody told them or they said it on their own. In hindsight, these people wind up looking like fools in history because Howard obviously has a black agenda, although it's tied to because it was financially based. Hey man, a lot of black people are into this whole black power thing. Maybe we'll push it, and it wound up they wanted some more, they wanted some of that black power dollar. They wanted some more black power dollars, so they wound up bringing it in. But when you got these black women and you had them in the Obama administration for 8 years. Now, black women are really strong, are really clever. Anybody who is familiar with an intellectual black woman, a quick-witted, sharp, on the toes, educated black woman. Uh, One of the things is when she wants something and she's determined, she can get it done. So to me, 8 years, and I just would love somebody to tell me what was done for the black community apart from Obama phones. I just would love, because it's like Assata Shakur's not pardoned, and then you got this new president that comes in, and all of a sudden he's, all of a sudden he's doing things immediately. 50 executive acts in 2 days. You got what I'm saying? That's exaggerated, but the fact that he's able to get so much done, where we had a man of color, and then we had all these amazing women backing them, and it's just something where I don't know. Is that a wrong question to ask? You got what I'm saying? Like, is that wrong? And I would, you could chime in at, and just let me know. Like, is this, you know, i- i- am I missing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it something where nah, they shouldn't have brought it. There is no black agenda. They shouldn't be asking about pardon for Assata Shakur, any political prisoners, or they shouldn't be talking about reparations. This is a conversation that black women or and the president should, a black president that we have shouldn't be speaking about, because they got to worry about reparations for the Indians and the Jewish community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because we don't care. I personally care, and I just would love to know if if is it because they're so dedicated to their sororities and in the fraternities, um, in the agenda, these agendas that they get from these colleges, that they wind up just completely skipping over the matter at hand, which would be our basic liberties and our basic needs. But it, just feel free to drop your Anybody can definitely chime in.
Yeah, I think it's valid because to be real, I didn't even know it was that black woman up in his cabinet like that until you just showed it.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So it's like I'm taken aback, like, whoa, I ain't know that. You know what I'm saying? And you're
hmm
right, they didn't push. I didn't see no agenda that they pushed. You know what I mean? Especially as far as reparations, stuff like that. So
mm,
I think it shows that either they were just playing both sides to the middle, or they were just playing the side that they thought would help them ride out to the best.
mm. Yeah. So it's just it's
Well, earlier,
disappointing. What's up?
Rayo,
I hear you.
earlier I mentioned and Madan. Um, Earlier I mentioned the White House website, and I mentioned how people can go on there and see exactly what the presidential policy is.
Mm.
That's important because when you look at
Yeah, you going out? You going out? You out for a second? Hey, introduce yourself. Just so just so while you got time, while he's out, just introduce yourself.
I go by Madon Komet. You know what I mean? I ride out with the Bible. You know what I mean? I just study ancient history worldwide, global. You know what I mean? I don't just keep it to one landmass. You know what I mean?
That's right.
That's pretty much me. You know what I mean? I do music or whatever. You know what I mean? Other than that,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? I'm just pretty much an informationalist.
That's right. All right. How could the people reach you? Just in case you know what I'm saying, they might want to, you might say something, you got to tell them what's your Facebook, or you got to tell them how to contact you, or if they could,
Yeah, they can reach me on
'cause
Facebook, Madon Komet, MADONKEMET, or on YouTube. You know what I mean? Just type in Madon Komet. I got videos on there. You know what I mean? I got some old stuff I did back in the day. And, I'm
mm,
starting up a new channel. It's gonna be called Yahweh Power TV, and it's
mm,
basically just showing. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like some just global. You know what I mean? Showing the power of the Most High in
mm,
all areas, no matter what it be. How
mm.
no matter how small or how big.
Okay. So yeah, man. So you see how many, how many women was there? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
Isn't
that's
that
amazing,
amazing?
brother. I had never seen that until you just posted that.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's like, okay. So see, the thing is, um, like mainstream media, or the people want to know, they do stuff like that on purpose. And you see how they took individual pictures of each woman. You see what I'm saying? You see how they have individual pictures of each woman, just to remind and make the mark and leave that mark in history. Like, look how many, it was 29 black women backing the black president and the black first lady, backing them. And guess what was done around that time, as far as black agenda? And people will look back at these women and wonder, whether they're Eastern Stars, or they're, Rhodes Scholars, or whatever for sorority they're coming from. And just, you gotta question, like, what was going through your mind at that time, that makes you just silent on certain issues. And maybe there's a story that they can tell, like, oh no, I wasn't silent, they kept, he told us no. I just didn't hear no big debate about reparations from any of these powerful women. Because when a woman, they say, when a woman's fed up and when a woman's scorned, she know how to make noise. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I think she, and when you got 29 uh, brilliant minds, beautiful, brilliant minds together. You trying to tell me they couldn't? Man, yo, we got a lot of work to do, man.
Hey,
Women,
yo, that's
ladies,
real.
we got a lot of work to do,
Hey, yo,
and it's
that's
all
real.
love.
'Cause, I think I
Mm,
think either they got into that mind state where they felt like just get over it, or that's what I think the mind state was that, just to be real about it. I think they
mm,
they had their mind state. Look, Y'all just get over that. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Now here we are with into a couple of days into the Trump administration, and all of a sudden, everybody's agenda is about to get pushed again. You got what I'm saying? So that's why it's like, yeah, get over it. But now look what they're doing. They're pushing their agenda. Whether it's this whole Muslim ban, or the ACLU, or the Jewish, the Jewish people. So all these, everybody's agenda is about to get addressed all of a sudden again, and it's like, fam, yeah, we had 8 years, and if anybody's familiar with me, struggling through the conscious community, and trying to even have the conversation about reparations, that was a battle within itself. So I'm not just I'm not just blaming them, because when you have people in power, um, they need the backing of the people to actually get the things done, because it's not just like the president comes in and all of a sudden he knows exactly what needs to be done, and he's going to do it. No, he's going to do it if you put the pressure on him, especially for men and women of color. You know what I'm saying? Melanated men and women, black people, Moors, etc., etc. Because the conversation of politics was, I think, removed from the community. The politics of politics was removed from the community. So now you wind up, the black genius winds up getting used against us. So that's where you get the hidden figures. These women the women from the movie are using their math and their strategies, and of course, they're navigating out of space, navigating to the far reaches of Earth, and then all of a sudden, their same information is used against them, because now they drop bombs on Syria, and they're using that same math to put inside their computers, and drop bombs on Somalia and throughout Africa. So they use the math of these brilliant black minds to hurt the black nations. So now here we go. We got some more brilliant black minds, and I don't, I know we already hurting. A lot of people are already hurting, mentally, physically, spiritually, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just when you see that many powerful women at the same time, I just was like, man, I gotta kind of speak on it, and I'm not in the He-Man woman bashing club. I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be clear. I love the women. I love my women. I love them. But at the same time, I know my people. It's clear that there's a spell out. That there's a spell, and if you understand witches, wizards, gods, goddesses, and you understand spiritual information, spiritual power, etc., whether you do or don't, it's being done, because there got to be something wrong and something psychologically done, whether you call it magic or you just call it psychological warfare, whatever you call it, however it's addressed. it's we it's being played on one side, and hopefully people kind of get hip and start countering some of these things. Babylon, you back on right now. You had something to add? You with us? Okay. Okay. So yeah, but at this point, I just wanted to at least be able to address something where it was a surprise to me when I seen it. It was, like you said, it was a surprise to you, and and I just had to do my part to share it with whoever actually could see this, and come to the conclusion of or actually help me understand, like, nah, they didn't need to do that, or just convince me, or tell me whether, if I'm right, if I'm if I'm wrong, let me know. You got what I'm saying? Because I just feel some sort of way, because um women are the
Well,
leaders of.
I would say that they didn't care, Brother Rawyal. I
Mm,
wouldn't say that they deliberately did it or deliberately didn't do it or address the issue of reparations or anything. I
mm,
just feel like that they didn't have it in their hearts and in their minds, so it wasn't gonna come out of their mouth. It wasn't gonna be on their
mm,
tongue.
mm. Hey, You guys are familiar with Cecil Rhodes?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Hmm.
Black issue.
One more time.
No, I was just saying, yeah, I heard of him.
Okay, yeah. What about you, Don? Okay, so with Cecil Rhodes, you got people like Cory Booker, Bill Clinton. I think is it Hannity? What's the other woman? Rachel Maddox. Um, uh, it's quite a few Rhodes scholars. Now, think about who I said. Bill Clinton. What would a Rhodes Scholar do? Mass incarceration. They're setting up Cory Booker, to for to kind of jump in as the fair-skinned candidate that people can co-sign because he got the great smile and he seems to be with us. But you always have to remember and always just Google and look up the multiple how multifaceted the faces of the Rhodes Scholars. Cecil Rhodes is the one where you see the Africans with the missing hands because he's tied to the blood diamonds. He's tied to the scramble for Africa, and his punchline was, or his punchline is that to making making everything like Britain. All right, to bringing everybody back to Britain, which everything wasn't under British rule. But anyway, that's where you get the whole scramble for Africa, where they want to drain all the resources of Africa from the tip to there's a picture, a photograph of him where you got one foot at one end of the continent of Africa to the other end with his hands as if like, yeah, I got this. This is mine. Him and his brother. I believe his brother name is Francis. So that's where you get in the initials CFR. So when you hear CFR, and that's Cecil and Francis Rhodes. Those are the Rhodes Scholars. So I know they say it's the Council on Foreign Relations, and yeah, I'm sure it is the Council on Foreign Relations, but you got to understand they got faces that look as black as mine, lighter than mine, Indians, Asians, different types of people that are Rhodes Scholars that will sit and look, and people think that that they have their best interests, but their agenda is actually to it's like a mind game. You get comfortable because he's black, and all of a sudden your resources is drained, and and they got all these ridiculous prison laws, etc. And then later on, after the job is done, they turn around and then you'll get the Bill Clinton saying, yeah, I was wrong, but you guys need to stop killing each other. Well, that putting drugs in the community and preventing us from having work, that gainful work, work that we can benefit from, and you drop drugs, etc. So when you got opportunities as a people and we're not in sync, it's something that in hindsight, at this point, I think we can see it hurt. It hurt us, and I just wish and I just hope that from this day forth, or from the from anybody who hear the conversation, or actually it resonates in their heart and their mind, and it sparks any bit of enlightenment to say, okay, we got to get in sync, we got to get in, we got to get everybody else is getting their things done. Everybody else is actually being addressed properly. Where we still looking here we are. We the founders of every nation on the planet, and pretty much no matter what book you read, no matter how you take it, we the founders of it all. When you get to the core of it, it's us. But here we are. How we getting spanked so with something like is this, and it's just ridiculous. Just simple things. That's why I want to put the mission of we just need smaller missions at this point. We just need smaller missions to hopefully break the spell and lighten the load, so people don't feel overwhelmed like, oh, reparations. This year I can't even say that I'm gonna push hard for the reparations conversation with this Trump with Trump in office. I can't even say that, but I will reflect on what was done in the past 8 years just to bring that up. I'm still for anybody who's pushing it, but I don't think I don't think we're gonna have the same opportunity like we had with Obama, where All we had to do was get 100,000 people to co-sign the what you call that on the White House website. They make these petitions or whatever you call them. They make the petitions. You get 100,000 people to co-sign it, and the White House would have to address it. You know how many signatures we was able to get? 400. 400 out of the 150 or more Africans that's here, and but I'm talking about civilians. But then if you even if you want to just narrow it down to the U.S. Black U.S. citizens, 50 million or more U.S. citizens, right? I'm not even talking about the civilians. I'm gonna talk about the citizens. Out of 50 million citizens, only 400 felt co-sign reparations, but it was neck and neck with naming a ship after the gorilla Harambe. Harambe had more votes to be named a military ship than reparations had to be addressed by the White House. So that's why sometimes I just feel, again, this is just for anybody who, who's like, oh, what is this? This is just a conscious reality show. So you don't got to take none of this stuff serious. It's just a conscious I'm just chopping it up with, with some fellow brothers. But, it's you gotta address it. You gotta address it in a way where when you see how ridiculous these things are, it can't be real. It can't be real. Harambe, and you got to remember, these nuts was almost won the election. So because people were playing too much and they was so distracted and playing too much. But this is the year. If you do any research, it's the year of the rooster. Do some research on that. Whether you believe or don't believe, whether you know or you don't know, just do some research on the energy that pertains to this year, because my son actually said something. He was like, man, this year is going by slow, because this time last year we would have already been 2-3 months in. So and I agree with him. I agree that this year is actually moving. It feels like it's moving in slow motion already, because we're still in January. We didn't even make it to February, and it's
Hey,
dragging
yo.
out. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I mean to cut your wisdom, but I was gonna say
No,
it's funny that you mentioned the year of the rooster.
no.
Cause me and my girl, we've been practicing like feng shui.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And according to feng shui, it's like a Chinese stuff where you deal with the energies in your house. You organize certain stuff in your house a certain
mm,
way to bring forth good energy and push out negative energy. But according to feng shui, this is the year of the rooster. You know what I mean? But I wanted to say something on the reparation. I think this is the year we should push even harder, because I think more black folk, more our people would pay more attention to it. Now that so you got a lot of people hate Trump, but at the same time, if there's some people that are gonna ride with him, I think we can push that issue if he gonna help the black community.
mm. Yeah, that's so you think that there's a chance to push reparations during the
Yeah,
Trump administration?
right. I think this is the most the best time. I mean, if they're gonna say the year of the trumpet, if they're gonna use that dynamic, I mean, to me, I think it's the best time, because a lot of white people hate him. So I say we push that agenda and push it even harder.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna say like this. I I'm gonna still go with it. I'm gonna still push the agenda. But I think we have to expose ourselves in how hard they was going at saying, because it was our people that was saying no that prevented it. Okay, so I just have to make that clear. Like, it wasn't like I had other nationalities rejecting the idea of reparations or rejecting the conversation. It was, we had our powerful people pushing us back. So now we're in a situation where now you have, you know, the House, the entire Congress, the Republican Congress, and then you have a wild card president, and it's just something where one of his agendas is stop and frisk, nationalizing stop and frisk, which will remove the Fourth Amendment. When he was sworn in to uphold the Constitution, but his conversation was, okay, I think that we can do this national stop and frisk to prevent, because they set up they set up this intellectually deficient man to ask him, hey, Donald Trump, what would you do about black on black crime? Oh my God, why do they have a black guy asking Trump what can he do about black on black crime? This is just, I think he was an actor, you know, um, but he did ask Donald Trump that question on a nationally televised show, and Donald Trump's answer was, hey, let's just do stop and frisk. Stop and frisk. I'm from New York. It didn't work. It didn't work at all. Okay, it wasn't a good thing, right? And it caused a lot of issues, and it was terrorism. Okay, so with this being a good time to push reparations, I think we need to build up to it, because the mindset of the people have to see small goals achieved. I need black women to get these statues downtown Manhattan. If you can get those, if black women and Asian women can get those statues removed from downtown Manhattan, then I would say we can do it, because I want to see a small goal achieved by these strong, brilliant women, because that is the core and that is the pivot of the spell that's cast on our people everywhere. Because if New York City is where we're being monetized from, if we're the capital of capitalism, and they have statues of black women sleep slumped and and pretty much out of order, while being surrounded by pyramids and she has a sphinx and with a witch behind her under a spell, and then they have an Asian statue, and she sleep while her people are surrounding her with being in chains, and in pain. So if you can remove, if the women and the men who actually care and join in the, because you got men that join the feminist movement or whatever. So if you want to join and get those statues removed, and I think that can actually help remove some of the energy out of the air at least, and then we can begin to have other conversations like getting the statue, or getting the proper representation for Malcolm X at the Autobahn. Simple things now at this point, just to build up, but we got to move swift, we got to move fast, because the buffoonery that happened, the foolishness that happened when presenting the reparations case is so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing when you see all of these men that's jumping out talking about nationality, et cetera, et cetera. It's just ridiculous. Let me just shout out the room in the chat. Yes, I understand. The women, because G Deb is saying that the women might have been removed from their positions. Excuse me, the women might have been removed from their positions. Um, yeah, I know Michelle didn't speak on it. Michelle could have spoke on it also. She could have spoke on it, but man, it's
Hey, can I
she
can I
didn't.
say something?
Of course, of course.
I just want to say this, man. I think it's, like you said, it's the approach method at the same time. But I think, me personally, I say the problem is poverty, and I say, they said we got to repair the damage. So to me, if the best solution to me is to get rid of poverty, because that's what's causing all the crime and the murder in the black community. I say give us reparations. Reparation is to repair poverty. And
Mhm,
once you repair poverty, if more young people got money from those reparations, they got less time, less chances to commit crime.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, just because you got money don't mean you might not rob nobody. But I'm pretty sure if the 30 million more black people had 12 G's a month coming in for reparations for 12 years, I'm pretty sure the crime rate would drop.
Mhm. Hey, you know what? They're gonna have the discussion about the foolish discussion about building a wall, right? So this is gonna be just a ridiculous discussion about building a wall, and because you got to realize these conversations are mainstream conversations, as ridiculous as they are. So, um, reparations is a cooperative thing. It's not just like, you and I having it, and we feel, this is how I feel, et cetera, et cetera. I think when you look back at how hard our people pushed away from it, like you said, I completely agree that it's the answer, because once you have your own land and you're properly financed, then that's a relief on having to do unnecessary crimes and using drugs. So reparations is the answer, and it's always been the answer. It was the answer for 8 years. How come for the last 8 years? Do you feel for the past 8 years reparations should not have been addressed?
I think it should have been Obama's #1 priority. I mean, to me, if you can fund all these other countries and all this other stuff, you know what I mean, give us something. I mean,
Okay, see, now I'm glad you said that, because I was like, please don't say that, because I thought you was like, because you had the brother Dr. Umar, who was like, let's not say it during Obama's terms. And I'm like, how I don't know how that how that would have made sense. I don't know how that made sense, which to me
that didn't make sense to me
it didn't
for a
make
brother
sense to
like
me at
that,
all.
who
And
says
I
Saudi.
don't want to seem like I'm attacking him. You
Nah,
got
me
what I'm
either,
saying?
brother. But we got to be 100.
But
But
to keep
and
it,
me,
yeah.
I think I know the brother. I met the brother in Pittsburgh way back some years back,
Mhm.
and I told him, I said, yo, you know what, man, you remind me of Dr. Amos Wilson. And he was like,
Doctor,
he
what
studied a lot of
you
his
was
work.
low? You was low. I didn't hear you.
Now he was saying how he studied a lot of Dr. Amos Wilson's work.
Okay.
To me, if you're gonna follow behind a brother like that, reparations is a must, no matter who's in the house.
You had that conversation with him too?
Not to have
Oh,
that
oh,
conversation,
okay,
but
okay, okay. Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, when you study the model of, he was basically saying we got to see ourselves as a nation and have finances to push ourselves into the future.
yeah. Yeah, I had that conversation when I seen him. Like immediately, like, because I seen him online. The first time I seen him online, he had said he just said no to it, right? And I was like, yo, who's this guy? Like, he's going to be popular. I just knew he was going to get popular, and he was running around saying no to reparation. I was like, you got to take that back, or you got to tell him, don't go around telling people that. So when I seen him, I'm like, yo, he agreed with me at the moment, but then somebody else went and interviewed him and asked him again, and he reiterated. He went back to what he said, saying no. So now it was people like him and Polite and the other brothers at the time during Obama's administration that went really hard saying no. And then there was all type of rappers, all type of people out of nowhere that was going really hard. And then you seen the community. It was like, it wasn't even 50-50. It was like 80-20. You got what I'm saying? Because you said you a man of the book, right?
Right.
So you being a man of the book and you saying you agree to reparations, you got what I'm saying? But there was men that were with the book and just were anti-reparations, which to me was the answer for poverty, at least in the black community. At least it would have been a relief to the white community, because that blacks are selling your children drugs that your corporation, the US, brings into our community to sell to your children, right? So it's not us that got the planes and got the boats and could move internationally like that. I'm not saying that we can't, but we're not the ones that took over the poppy fields in Afghanistan. That's not us, right? So you got to realize that we're being blamed for international issues, and they're changing the faces of the terrorists to our faces. That's why I was like, man, we need to get funding so we can make sure these children in Chicago don't get caught up being called terrorists, or what they call them, domestic terrorism. You got what I'm saying? You don't want to get so so the whole conversation, when you see all of these black women, powerful black women, just whispering the man ear, like, what, this is what, like, we're not, we gotta be at a point where we're helping each other, opposed to just there because I got the job. You got what I'm saying? Like, if you don't like what you're doing, please don't lie
Right.
to your children. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're blocking up space for somebody who would who would probably with better customer service or better would fit the position, opposed to you got the job and you don't actually like what you're doing. So when
Hey,
you
that's
see all,
oh my bad, brother. I just gonna say that's real, man, because I think a lot of them people, when a lot of our people, we've got mesmerized by that pull yourself up by your own bootstrap
yeah,
mentality.
hey,
And me personally, I say when our people came out of slavery, we didn't have a
we
boot
ain't have no, that's what
or a
I was
boot
going to
with
say.
a strap on it.
I was like, we
You
ain't
know
never
what I
had no
mean?
boot. Exactly what I was gonna say. Like, it wasn't even no boots. Pull yourself by your bootstraps. I'm like, fam, like y'all stole our boots. We had boots. Y'all didn't have boots. Y'all stole our boots while we were sleeping, and our children. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we gotta, we gotta be realistic with these. What we're dealing with overall. When it comes to oppression, is not just a complexion. Oppression to me is not a complexion, because there are um, men and women that look just like you, maybe darker, maybe lighter, but are serious, that have been mentally colonized. So they're just as much of a problem than anybody else. And at this point, like, if you actually do some research, if anybody does research and you look up like what was happening during the Panther era, and you look at all of the informants or FBI informants and the agents, and you actually listen to them, they was like, man, I just thought the Panthers going around with their guns and all that, who they think they are. So I joined, so I helped the FBI to infiltrate them. It was like, what? So just because they was upset that these men was saying black power and actually trying to defend their community from the drugs that was being brought in, that is open fact, not something that we're just making up. Open fact that these agencies, these government agencies and federal agencies, was bringing drugs and guns into our community so we can poison and kill ourselves. So it was these guys who was uh, starting most of the issues, and then you have people in the community that's jumping on the side of the federal agents, infiltrating, the Fred Hampton, like from the Fred Hamptons to Malcolm X. These guys have bodyguards that were agents that was telling, their every given move to the agency. And actually, at the end of the day, you see, what the results was. So the agenda of reparations, the agenda of war on crime, poverty, domestic terrorism, et cetera, for our people. I know all different types of people listen to me and watch me, but I have to say, for the black people that or for the melanated people that this message resonate with, you gotta be you still got to keep your filters up. You got to be sharp with it and be realistic. I'm trying to keep my. I'm doing my best to keep things as practical as possible, because unfortunately, but from the chemicals to the programming, the mindset is not as high and active as the muscle, the mind, the brain hasn't been exercised enough. And I know that a lot of people are really smart, but if you're not active with it, it becomes dormant. Like, if you don't listen to your intuition enough, you don't know how to be right on beat with it. You know what I'm saying? So you might be a little out of practice. That's why I was saying, well, I think we need to get to a point where we do some local things come together for some. There is major, but it's still local. Break the spell. Where's the spell? Downtown Manhattan. Can women of all colors and complexions, people that care about humanity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, care about feminists and all of this other stuff, get those statues that are really ridiculous and embarrassing. It's like having those faces, those old propaganda faces that they would have of black people. Imagine imagine somebody did a statue like that, and you got to walk past it every day. Would you want to get this removed? I'm just asking. I'm just saying, like, if you've seen a big statue of one of these caricatures that they had of our people from years back. Would it not be one of the priorities to get this thing removed? I'm asking the brothers in the room. I'm just asking, any of the brothers right now in the room.
You mean which statue you were referring to? I'm not clear on it.
Okay. I'm saying, I'm just trying to make a quick example. Because I'm a post. I went down there and I filmed the area. I filmed the area downtown where I'm talking about. But I'm just making a hypothetical scenario where the faces where they would call these people Sambos and coons, which is, even though those words are words that we use for men and women in power for the nations and countries but what they did was they reversed these things. But that, aside, that set, that fact being set aside for a second, just to make this example, the caricature faces that they was using, right? With the big lips and all the nappy hair and running around and calling us monkeys, etc. You know those? You remember that?
Yeah, right on. I got you.
Oh, okay. So imagine somebody made a statue of one of those characters and set it in front of a stadium where, I don't know where you guys live or whatever. I'm gonna just say, what if they put that in front of a high traffic area? Would you not, as a man and woman of color, would you not want to get this statue removed?
Oh, without a doubt, we had to pour that down overnight if people got the heart. You know what I mean? They got the fortitude. We're gonna make that fall like any person should do. And I was gonna touch on, like, when you were saying about the Panthers and stuff like that real quick. I feel like what the European understood and what the Panthers understood is that you gotta have a ruling class mentality. And to me, anytime you're dealing with societies, even in ancient days, it had to be somebody on top and somebody on the bottom if you were gonna run your society how you really want it. Like, you know what I mean? The Chinese got things, the Japanese. And I think that's the main issue, one of the issues that when you come with that ruling class mentality, they try to wipe that out. You know what I mean? And because, like I said, somebody gotta be on the top and somebody gotta be on the bottom. And I feel like, if we try to come up and have that mentality, in society, it's gonna be a war.
You said, you're saying if you want to, if we remove the mentality of top and bottom, what are you saying? Say that one more time.
I'm basically saying, like, when you come with a ruling class mentality, that put fear in the next ethnic group. You know what I mean? And I think by having a ruling class mentality, that's what the Panthers were showing. So they had to infiltrate that. Just like with any organization you got going that had that ruling class mentality, especially if you're in his society and he want to stay on top,
Yes.
he got to keep that. He got to keep that on the bottom, so you don't be better than him or rise up and take over what's his. And I think it's a natural animal, human instinct that even in the animal kingdom, you see that if a male want to run that pack, he got to dominate whatever's under him, and so on. But I think it's to me, I think it's a mentality that is in all society. Just like the scriptures say that children of Israel are the chosen people. A lot of people may get offended by that, but if we see the people over there, they run their society that way. To keep the Palestinians down and anybody else who want to come against what they got going.
I mean, just so just if you address it in a way where making progress, I understand, I recognize that when the Panthers were making a breakfast program and they were doing those things like that, J. Edgar Hoover went out of his way to say that was the greatest threat. That was like a great threat to the U.S. That was a great threat to the nation, right? Obviously, the U.S. has adopted that same program into the breakfast program for children. So the reality is we gotta just focus on making sure we consistently doing things that at the end of the day are going to still be a forward progress for our people no matter what. You understand? So I don't go out of my way. I'm not going out of my way to pretend like I gotta pump my fist every 3 times I'm in front of somebody. I'm always myself, but at the same time, just because I'm around somebody else, I don't pretend to be anybody else. And I don't change the fact that I know that we need things done. I'm gonna show people the statue. I'm gonna show people the statue that I'm talking about. I'm gonna just show the black one. I'll do the Asian one again. I'll put up the entire video next go round. I'll just post that up. That's not a live shoot. That's not a live thing. That's just going to be something that documentary style. Okay, so let's go over here. Actually, the chat get a little burn. Okay, so where is that? Here. Okay, so can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so this is the statue. This is the African woman. If you can see this, you see she's here with the Sphinx, and this is a lion trying to push her up, and you see she's sleeping, and she's naked. She seems, when you got stomach muscles, that's a sign that you strong. She got a strong core, but she's under a spell. Behind her, which you can't see, what I'll show you in the footage, once I edit it up and and put the footage out. Behind her, there's a witch. On the side of her, there's 4 statues. This is Africa. There's Europe, and there's America. A European colonial America, and then there's Asia. Okay, now both the European and the colonialized America are European statues sitting upright. Europe is the one that's up and looking like she's ready to leap, but this African statue, when people get off of that boat from Staten Island, from all over the place, right? They wind up seeing this statue first. You got what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, at this point, we gotta get that statue removed, because people from all over the world are seeing that statue as a symbol of the black woman. Now, I'm just curious, to ask, like, does that look like a good representation of a black woman?
So the person sitting down in there was supposed to have been a black woman, like with a
Yes.
her armpit over the head of the other statue.
What it was is that was a lion trying to push her to wake her up, to get her up. There's a lion up under her arm trying to wake her up, but she's under a spell, and her hair is no longer kinky. Her hair is even straight. Her hair is straight. There's a lion under her arm, and on the other side of her is a sphinx. She has greatness. She's surrounded by greatness, but she's in a slumber. And the reason she's in a slumber, because behind her there's a witch with her hand up under her, reading from a book. So she's putting her under a spell. She's under a spell. So my point of this is that is downtown where the court system is at. You understand? That's right. It's in between where the courts is at, and that's in between where they get off the boat from seeing a Statue of Liberty. If you're familiar with the Statue of Liberty's original design, it was supposed to be a black woman. France was granting this gift for as a design and symbol of freedom, and it was who was the symbol supposed to, who got free? It was this the African from the colonialists, right? So they was like, well, we're going to give you the statue, and then at the last minute, the Europeans at that time had a change of heart, like, no, because in that area it was a black area, so they was like, this, at least they'll get to see a reflection of themselves free. They changed their mind.
I heard it had chains on it, like slave chains.
It was like broke, like she, like as if she just broke the chains. The chains are still on this statue, but it's as the foot is kicking. It's almost like the foot is hiding the chain. You understand? So Me as a designer, as an artist, you know, those little things is symbolism. So when I see this statue, and I'm like, you see all different nationalities come by and see this statue, and then you understand, or you aware of Wicca magic and different types of spells and statues and law. Then it's like, it's a spell, because that energy, you add energy and you give it power, because everything, humans are humans are created from energy alone. So if that energy of, oh, black women, and then they try to say, oh, try to make it like she's lazy, and because they didn't have black men, women are the pillars of all nations. So when you see that's your woman, then you can look at Chicago and say that's why, because when they hear about Chicago, and then when they first got off the boat, they seen that statue of that black woman. So these other people from other nationalities are they put two and two together real fast, right? So us being here, me being an artist, it's only right that I try to present this and make this a case like, listen, okay, for the 8 years I pushed and I was campaigning for the reparations thing. You know, it turns around, come to find out, there was about 29, 30. You got to make it round it off with 30, because I believe, like G Deb was saying, you know, Michelle was there too. So that makes 30 black women, you know, in the Obama administration. And Asada being, uh, the trip to Cuba was you know, was a highlight of the Obama administration, and the pardon didn't come up. You got what I'm saying? From the first round to the second term, the pardon didn't come up. You took a trip to, all of those women didn't bring up the Asada pardon, because I'm not even bringing up any of the other men. I'm just trying to keep it like, okay, so what about the woman? You know, would you protect the woman? Okay, no. All right, so what about reparations? Okay, so that didn't come up. So okay, so let's make a smaller goal. Here's a smaller goal. You see that statue? People from all around the world, soon as they get it, they, you know, New York is like probably like one of the biggest tourist attractions any and everywhere. And they get off the boat and they see that thing right there. When they, you know, downtown and everywhere, they come to the city and they going down and they want to see the Statue of Liberty, and they want to see you know, the World Trade and all. They got to pass that statue right there. So to go back, when I say metaphorically, if I made a caricature, or the caricatures from back from the early 1900s, and they put that statue where it's high traffic at, your first words was, I would take it down, right? So I'm saying, when I look at that statue, I'm telling you that's a caricature that is so appalling that even if you don't see it as a spell or a statue in nature, or law, it's just appalling overall, and it should have been taken down decades, years ago. And being a generation of information, and we all aware, and I see we lost our brother Babylon, but you know, we're a generation of information and activity, and everybody's, you know, so active. I think, you know, we should be able to you know, pull that thing down, you know, in a, especially after that huge women's march, women's march. So coming together and you know, voicing their opinions. I'm saying, let's get our thing focused. Let's get our thing laser focused. So, you know, so these achievements, you know, can be seen immediately. Like, that's an immediate achievement. And again, addressing the Cecil Rhodes thing, they took the Cecil Rhodes statue down in what was called Rhodesia. He even had the country named after him. You got what I'm saying? So they had removed the name Rhodesia back to, I believe, Zimbabwe. Okay. But the Cecil Rhodes statue was a bigger issue on the campus. They removed the statue. But unfortunately, the mindset is still there, because they still, although they removed the statue, they're still teaching the Cecil Rhodes mindset. to these people. Okay, so here with this statue and with this situation is something where you can actually get it removed, and then it would help reduce some of the propaganda, and possibly lighten some of the load. But with the conversation overall was about the hidden figures, and I believe that statue was a hidden figure. So I didn't veer off topic. I didn't veer off topic. So if you wanna, if you wanna, address any final words, while I get ready to, give everybody a shout out in the chat room.
Oh, but yeah, I agree with you, man. I can see how you would want that statue pulled down. You know what I mean? I definitely
Mm,
feel you on that, yo, because that is some magic going on up in there.
mm, right. So yeah, that's definitely something where, to me personally, I feel like we could do that. Can we do that at least? Can we do that? I think we can. And being, it's so many groups right now, so many women's groups right now, and so many strong, outstanding women, strong-willed, outstanding women, hard-working, smart, and determined women. We got to at least do that, and I think that'll help. Like, because that's not even asking for money. You understand? That's not reparations, asking for money, asking for land, not asking or petitioning, or demanding that we get our land back, demanding we get our what was taken from us, our power that was taken. Well, you still have your power, but it's freeing your mind at this point. Freeing the mind. I think that statue will help free the mind from the mental shackles and from the mental statue of sitting still and feeling like, oh no, there's no way we can get anything done. And I feel like at least get that statue taken down, because people go so hard at fighting against reparations. I'm like, well, okay, while y'all fight against reparations, can you at least agree that that statue should be taken down? You got what I'm saying? So that's just light. It's just light. I just wanted to at least um, address the Hidden Figures movie. Yes, it's a great movie. I couldn't go out of my way to promote it the way I would have promoted it, because it was already heavily funded, and it was going to do what it was going to do. Everybody knew about the movie. It had a lot of promotions, and it had Pharrell Williams and a lot of great actors and actresses that have humongous followings and scandal free, so they could get any type of funding that they could. So my little promotions, I know what I would have done. I would have lined it with a different fabric of music, and I would have had that movie, I would have made it go viral. I still have a record that still matches up with it, but whenever I speak with Pharrell, or maybe for the DVD, or whatever the case is, maybe I'll get him for the video for the record itself. But you being a musician, you know what I'm talking about when because Pharrell is a producer. Um, but what I will say is this, with those, in closing, with those 29 Black women, I appreciate them, making it to the White House. I appreciate them, showing that, we have intellectually capable, uh, beautiful women that can get the job done. And I just think we missed the mark with it. It's unfortunate we missed the mark with, with the opportunity that we had. So I'm just saying, now is a good time to actually, get back on track. Let me give a shout out to G Deb. Peace, family. Peace. Thank you for participating and being active in the chat. I truly, truly appreciate it. Melanated Neutrina, peace and love to you. Thank you for being active in the chat. I appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of those Rhodes Scholars are Boule, Greek sororities, all of that. Yep, it's just dangerous to watch out, because they choose the sororities over reality and over over the family, and the fraternities too. So yeah, Hood the Hood 1000. Yeah, peace to you, family. Yeah, I'm trying to bang these things back out. You know what I'm saying? Trying to bang them out. Um, Okay, where we at? Where we at? So yeah, that's just the main thing is just at least being able to pull this stuff off, man, and creating a movement like you said, G. Creating that movement where we could actually get some traction on this thing, get some traction and get this thing going. Yeah, so again, Madan, if you want to any closing words.
Oh man, it's been a great you know what I mean. I was feeling this, brother. You know what I mean. It was a real you brought some real good topics, man. Some much needed topics, and stuff that we gotta remember, and try to keep striving forward and keep pushing it. You know what I mean? Because to me, I think it's much needed. You know what I mean? Because without it, I think it's gonna continue to be a detrimental to our society and especially to us as a whole. You know what I mean? So I think we should push any agenda that we feel as though it's gonna better our people because you know what I mean, it's the poverty rates is crazy and now people are just running off fear because Trump is in the house.
Hmm. You said they just running off fear at this point. Yeah, yeah. I see a lot of people. He's pushing a lot of people out of the house because a lot of people saying, "Oh, I don't even want to watch the news anymore." Well, at least what I'm seeing is it's it's not even black people yet. It's not even black people yet. That's avoiding the news. It's a lot of white people are starting to get hip to the BS. So I see a lot of them walking out, and I see a lot of them active and out. And unfortunately, we still got a lot of major distractions because a lot of our hidden figures and or which would be key players are they have owners. They don't have business partners. They have owners. There's a difference between doing business with somebody from a different nationality and being able to keep your integrity, uh, opposed to dealing with somebody who have an owner being used to work against you. Then you have, so there's people that are actors and actresses that have owners, and they're stars. So their star power is being used to create distractions. And I'm gonna try to be as vigilant and sharp as possible to try to keep addressing and volleying some of these things back and volleying some of these things back to back to the corporation, these
Yeah,
corporate.
that's real, bro. I was just gonna say this, man. It goes to show when it comes to the our people that's entertainers and even just grassroots general people. It goes to show to me that fear is stronger than love. You know what I mean? To me that's what it shows when the lack of participation in the uplifting of your people. Especially when you got a boss or somebody over you like that in those positions or owners. You know what I mean? It goes to show the fear of them is stronger than the love
Mm,
because if you didn't fear, you wouldn't care what they say about helping your people. But
mm.
since ain't no true love there, it's really just fear. At the end of the day, that's how I see it.
It's just a fear. Mhm.
Yeah, fear is stronger than love, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I think we could pull it off. I think we could pull it off this year. I think I'm gonna do my part, man. I'm gonna do my part. But this is just a conscious reality show. This is just a conscious reality show. We just this was just another episode. It just was another episode. Got the merchandise. Got the paintings. I paint and draw, do music, and all of that. I got a couple of records coming out February. A couple of videos. I was going to put out this record, "The Killing Gotta Stop." I was going to put that out on King's birthday, but the energy wasn't there, and like I said, it was too many distractions that I felt coming up and coming. So what I got to do is I got to neutralize everything, and just as a propagandist, as an advertiser, as an entertainer, as an artist, and a father at the same time. So I got to make sure everybody can be sane enough to cooperate. So if you're not friends with me on Instagram, hit me on the Instagram too. I got like 3 Instagrams. If you want to start with the Royale at least is Rawyal. So uh, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You know, on Facebook is Royale Exclusives or Bro Royale Master Artist. On Twitter is just Royale or Mr. Royale. You top up. You know, right now we're starting to get a lot of people naming themselves Royale, which I'm not even gonna. That's another story. I'm not even gonna. I'm not. You know, I'm not worried about it. But at the same time, you know, when you see the logo, you know who it is. When you see the crown, you know what it's about. And again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And you know, again, you know, with this whole YouTube thing, it takes about 4 days for them to say, "Hey, Royale is live." So, like you said, G, we gotta, you know, just get this thing, you know, get this thing moving so we can get this information out because uh, a lot of the people that's actually watching are powerful people, and they're moving fast, and they'll counter if I give a solution and they counter it and we're not prepared. You got what I'm saying? So because you see how they moving really fast, and they already have plan A, B, and C already. You know, whereas like like the egos and selfishness and not cooperating is what's holding a lot of the momentum for getting things done and making the progress. Because we got a lot of hidden figures, but we don't got you know, we don't have that that forward progress that we need from them because the mindset is not matching up. We're not on the same page. But anyway, you know, it's another show, and again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is America versus the United States, and you know, once you wake up, you'll realize you're the star. Peace, and thanks for tuning in.
Peace, bro.
Peace.